The past 2 weeks, I'm working on my final project. It's a hard task, but it can really help me have a more complete understanding of some knowledge point. At the same time, it's also a good chance for me to access my ability and arouse my potential. There are two main parts about what I have learned from the final project. One is from the final project itself, the topic itself. The other one is what I learned from doing this project. The topic of our group is communism. For me, I have heard about this topic and relevant knowledge before, and this topic is quite relevant to our daily life. Honestly, honestly, I don't have deep understanding. I just have initial cognition. However, in order to create and complete the final project, it's necessary for us to have a complete understanding about all kinds of information related to communism. I searched Google to look for more information. Consumerism is a social and economic order and ideology that encourages the acquisition of goods and services in ever increasing amounts. This is a scientific definition of consumerism. And in the process of searching relevant information, I have learned about a new concept, naked law. It's a popular conception from young people. From this point, it's obvious that with the development of society and the new information society, the consumption form is also changed. I have learned some skills about searching information and analyzing information. Interview and continuous raising event are important parts in the process of final project. We can gain information and access our ability about communication. What's your own understanding of the concept of the consumerism?
So the concept of consumerism is actually pretty diversified in terms of the different branches of consumerism. Major factors that can influence different branches of consumerism includes culture, or just the history of a region or a country of the people. So, for example, consumerism in China is very different from consumerism in the United States. Whereas this could be probably a Chinese cultural thing where people tend to store up products, food, clothes, whereas in Western countries, you don't necessarily do that. And because of the habit of storing up, the habit of keeping the storage, it stimulates people to consume more, and therefore they would buy more off of like Taobao or buy more off of like online clothing shops, or even physical clothing shops. And another aspect of the concept of consumerism is how can people consume. So consume by itself means, I mean, of course, it's like eat to like get nutrients in your body. But in terms of buying products, if you have to go to a physical store to buy a product, and which therefore would decrease your probability of consuming your product. Whereas when you can just buy online, let's say if I go to Taobao, if I'm looking for something, a T-shirt, or let's say I'm looking for a pair of glasses, I can just go to Taobao and just like buy it instantly. What China has done to influence consumerism, since consumption is a big part of the Chinese GDP, is that online payment, online purchase, anything that's online with a screen and internet can be done pretty in a really fast manner and really efficient. So, in terms of the concept of consumerism, major factors such as culture, people around you, or how the government can like develop certain industries that promotes or restricts consumerism is like, I guess, my major like definition of what consumerism is.
Okay, thanks. My last question is that when you try to buy something, are you concerned about the environment?
Um, it depends on what the something is. There are some times where I feel like, okay, I should not be ordering Olama. Like, it's convenient, yes. It's good food, yes. It's cheap, yes. But the over packaging of delivery foods are actually just a really bad way. Like it's really bad for the environment.
So Jen, sometimes you will consider environment.
Sometimes I'm concerned, but under situations where like right now we're having an exam, I just don't really care that much because I feel like I need to focus on my exam more rather than spending time to walk outside, wait for the food, and then eat half of the food there and then walk back. But rather eating it, like let's say in the library or let's say in the classroom where I'm studying, while studying, maximizes my efficiency and time in terms of studying. So I really feel like consuming and while caring about the environment when consuming is actually more of a habit rather than whether or not you're aware of it. Because once you build up a habit, you can maintain that habit even during situations like right now where like fighting an exam. Because as of right now, even though I'm trying to, I don't really have a habit of going out to eat. I often find myself like choosing Olomami or like some delivery app because it's just so much more efficient and easier for me. But if let's say for example I build up a habit of cooking every night and then putting that and like taking that food and then reheating at the school with that food, I definitely do reduce the amount of plastic that we use, but I just don't have that habit. And then it's the process of building up the habit that will make this big difference. Because as of right now, we use Ulama not because we want to do it, but because our habit of using Ulama wants us to use Ulama. So that habit process, building up the habit is easy, but destroying a current habit is not as easy.
In this event, firstly, we introduce the definition and understanding of the conception. This is useful to help audience have a deeper recognition of this concept and better engage in next links. In order to create a free and easy atmosphere, we make an interesting interaction. This interaction is also a good chance to adjust to the atmosphere and gather information from the audience. Due to this free atmosphere, all kinds of information experienced by different audience and many audience are willing to share ideas. From it, I have learned that an interesting interaction could be useful for effective citizen engagement. Then we talked about the conception habit. The real conception experience is a way to let people think about their own behavior and share ideas and thoughts. This part is interesting. Different kinds of answers from audience. Some spend money on clothes, some spend money focus on electric devices. More interesting, they communicate with each other and remark each other's conception habit. So much information we got from it.
Do everyone have the habit of doing book accounting, like write down how much money you have spent every month?
Yes.
If you have, then just raise your hand.
Yeah.
So it's three people. And the second question is, how many people will buy new clothes every month?
Can it be like one piece? I count, like, I buy a shirt probably once a month. Or
That
like socks.
doesn't count. So it's 3 people. And the third question is, how many people will, buy a new iPhone? Just for example, if it comes to a new edition, or just two, it's your iPhone 5 and the iPhone 7 comes and you just buy it. So. Nobody?
How many of you guys consider yourself having the action of consumerism? Okay. So in order to get a deeper understanding of this question, actually I've carried out a questionnaire to learn about this question. So first of all, I selected 30 people randomly and I asked them what is the biggest part of your monthly consumption. And here comes the result. So So we can see that about 40% of the people chose the orange part and about 47% of the people chose the light blue part. So just make a guess. What kind of foods does these two parts represent? Food. Raise your hand, girl. And any other answers?
Alcohol.
So any other? Close. Okay.
Oh, DD charges.
Oh, okay. So actually, here's the results.
Oh,
You can see that the clothes and the foods taste the big.
We need to think what's the solution and what we should do. So does anyone have some idea or want to share your ideas?
I think a lot of companies are aiming to solve this problem now. They have aiming to want to do new products of the boxes in a cheap price.
Yes. So more ideas.
I think some cosmetics companies are kind of recycling the packages. They want their consumers to bring back the bottles after they use up the stuff.
Yeah, and for me, especially on weekends, sometimes I'm very lazy, so I always order some takeout food online. So this takeout food has many plastic boxes, and I always just throw away these boxes, so it's a waste. For me, I think I should list the frequency of buy this food online, and it's also good for my health and with.
Like if you don't have any money and you can go to some kind of illegal website and say, hey, I want money, and they'll ask you to send a naked photo with a person having an ID card, and you send this photo to him, and then he'll just give you the money, and though with a very high interest rate. But later, if you can't afford this kind of debt and you didn't return the money, the illegal website will send the photo to those like porn websites or even your family members. Yeah. So
That's super smart. Seriously.
it's a problem.
Consciousness raising event is an important part of the whole final project. It is quite helpful for our final project. It seems like a brainstorm. We share our ideas and thoughts to the audience, and we also gain information from the audience. In this process, we know people's conception habit and their opinions about some conception forms, and I have learned that the atmosphere is very important in this event. Using our own examples to explain. Firstly, we create a very interesting interaction. We just like maybe play a game with our audience, and it's a good way to adjust the atmosphere in the event. After that, the audience all are willing to share their thoughts and ideas. So I think it's a good point. It's a good idea. Consciousness raising event and interview are not only providing us lots of useful information, but also bring us the experience of discussion and relevant skills. Both consciousness raising event and interview are good ways to gain information. Combining this information we gain from the consciousness raising event and the information from the event, internet. This information have covered both primary and secondary sources, so they are full-scale information. I selected and utilized this information to serve for my research and final project. The process of selecting and utilizing is not simple. I need to analyze and apply to the topic. Doing a final project is a good way for us to improve ourselves in all aspects. To do the project, we need to collect and serve the information online and from other citizens. It can broaden our recognition and have a deeper understanding. The project is relevant to citizens. It will make us to be a global citizen, to think about the society. What's more, we can also learn lots of communication and discussion skills in this process. Doing a project is hard, but it's really worthwhile to do it.